When you look in the mirror, what do you see? The flaws staring back at you, the parts of your body you still despise, the ones that make you sigh with weariness. But have you ever looked in the mirror to love yourself? Have you ever stood before it to admire, embrace, and comfort the child within? And now, let's begin this episode of the podcast. What struggles do children deemed unattractive endure? There was a young girl with a painful birthmark on her face, spreading across her eyes and down her cheeks. She always saw it as a blemish, a torment, a lifelong curse she had to bear. It was as if all ugliness had chosen her. Her eyes were already monolid, and the birthmark even spread into the whites of her eyes, making her look like a deformed creature with two different colored eyes. Her mouth protruded, her skin was dark. Her classmates wouldn't play with her. They called her a witch. The boys treated her like an alien monster, while the girls looked at her with pity. To hear it, one might think she was still safe, but then came the school bullies. They'd tear up her homework, shove her head into the toilet, or force her to kneel and apologize just because, as they'd say, "You're at fault for being too ugly, it irritates me." No matter how much she cried or how silently she endured, she still faced the torment. The discrimination worsened when a teacher at school even casually joked, "How can someone with such a beautiful name look like that?" And then, he'd threatened to punish distracted students by making them sit next to her to keep them from talking. Another boy was also discriminated against for his appearance. The first thing people noticed when they saw his face was his nose broad, flat, red, and bumpy like an orange peel. His eyes seemed to bulge slightly, as if they wanted to drop out. His thick lips were chapped, like the mouth of a catfish. Looking at him as a whole, outsiders sensed something constantly pushing, protruding, something about to burst, though they didn't know when. The first time he realized his ugliness was in elementary school. His teacher seated him next to a very handsome boy. Once, by accident, the teacher called him by the handsome boy's name. The class erupted in scornful laughter. He distinctly heard someone venomously ask, "How can you mistake an angel for a pig-faced kid?" He clenched his fists, crumpling his notebook. He hated the girls who mocked him, hated the foul-mouthed bully, hated the teacher, hated the good-looking boy. A raging, frustrated, helpless fire burned within him. He hated himself. He smashed all the mirrors in his house. He screamed at his parents, "It's all your fault. Why did you have me? Why am I so ugly and miserable?" His parents just stayed silent, unable to do anything else. In their dilapidated home, where they barely scraped by for 3 meals a day, his mother had been timid and self-conscious her whole life. Beyond silence, those two people didn't know how to give their child what they themselves had never possessed. How did these unattractive children grow up? Some people advised the young girl to try harder. If she just studied well, people wouldn't bully her anymore, they would respect her. "If you don't have beauty, you must have knowledge," they said, so she plunged into studying obsessively. Some nights she'd cry while studying, not daring to rest, fearing she'd be bullied again. She treated studying like a major surgery. She let the bullies copy her homework. They recognized her utility, so they eased up and stopped bothering her. Yes, they were no longer a nightmare, but her perceived ugliness remained. People still avoided the witch. "Oh, for heaven's sake," they'd say, "if you're ugly, there's no way to completely stop being ugly. No matter how much you refine yourself, you'll only be less *ugly." People would still point and whisper, "That girl, she used to be as ugly as a ghost, now she's better." She dared not approach anyone, dared not like anyone, always suspicious of their polite compliments. Once branded as ugly, people no longer believed they had any appeal. She saw the falseness in every word from those around her. She was maddened, wondering why, even after striving to become excellent, she couldn't change their contemptuous and critical attitudes. Life isn't like movies. Bullies don't suddenly admire you when you succeed. In reality, the more successful you become, the more they hate you. They won't accept how good you are. To them, your success is just luck, good connections, or divine pity for your unfortunate looks, granting you a small blessing to salvage things. After his outburst with his parents, the boy decided to quit school. He went to the city to find work. Life wasn't easy for those without good looks. Struggling intensely, he found a job as a porter. His coworkers were also hardworking laborers, focused solely on earning enough to feed themselves and their families. To them, he was just another person trying to survive. They didn't care about his appearance or the unattractive features on his face. Leaving his parents for a different life, he met other individuals who also knew only how to bow their heads. He had never known what it felt like to walk with his head held high. His shoulders hunched, his head and neck withdrawn as he carried sack after sack of dirt. He felt his life was like dirt. He longed for something called love, but perhaps in this era, love wasn't for the ugly. He laughed at his own fate. Maybe even someone as unfortunate as Thino wouldn't want me now. My fate is even worse than Kai Fio's. Maybe I was born in the wrong time, fell into the wrong family, lived in the wrong community. Yes, that's right. He was in a community where everyone focused on appearance. Is appearance important? Yes, very important. Those without good looks often hear comforting words like, "It's what's inside that counts," or sermons about talent shining brightly, like "a good scent naturally attracts," or "don't worry, at least you have a beautiful soul." After hearing these, he could only offer a bitter smile, seeing the pity in every comforting word, feeling sorry for himself. You say appearance isn't important. That's because you don't understand how ugliness affects a person. Many people with unattractive exteriors, instead of being heartbroken by mockery, hold their heads high, confidently donning dazzling outfits, hoping to cover their facial flaws from the eyes of the world. Yet, they still painfully experience hidden injustices and indignities because people tell them, ugly and trying to show off, ugly people just want attention. There are also those who work tirelessly, saving every penny just to afford surgery at some aesthetic clinic, enduring gut-wrenching cuts with the sole purpose of making people stop talking about their looks. And what happens then? People still utter bitter words. What's so great about artificial beauty? It's better to be naturally ugly. Many women, even after getting married, aren't spared. People gossip, mock, or praise the husband, how noble he is. And the ugly girl, how lucky she is. They even fabricate stories. She must have cast a spell on him, otherwise who'd be so foolish. Please stop if you have ever hurt others with insults and judgments about their appearance. Everyone in this life is struggling daily to survive, so live your life well first. Don't make others' lives worse. There is a fine line between comment and discrimination. Be careful with your words, because you never know how much a person can shatter just because of your jokes. What did these unattractive children do wrong? People still say ugliness is a crime, not a crime that lands you in jail or is recorded in legal documents, but a crime formed by a crowd obsessed with attractive appearances. Not a crime in the sense of wrongdoing, but a crime in the sense of pity. We don't choose our appearance. These unattractive children have done nothing wrong. The fault lies with society. The crime belongs to those with ugly souls, those who only use their mouths to utter cruel words. But those children also bear some fault if they surrender themselves to those cruel words. They are at fault if they neglect or self-destruct this body. They are at fault if they have never loved and accepted their own imperfections. What does it mean to love and accept oneself? Self-love is a term no longer unfamiliar to us today. It's an optimistic, life-affirming attitude, carrying positive feelings to be confident in oneself and to see oneself as beautiful in one's natural form. The body positivity movement was born from this, with slogans like, "Be happy with yourself." Your body is always beautiful unconditionally, so you don't need to try to change yourself. This movement helps you practice self-love affirmations, repeating mantras like, "I am beautiful, I love myself," or "I love my body," until they become true. But invisibly, this creates a pressure that we must be satisfied with ourselves. In reality, everyone has characteristics they are not entirely happy with on their body. But you cannot force yourself to find love where it doesn't exist. Can that truly be called authentic self-love? If you constantly affirm something positive that you don't truly believe, your subconscious will reject that affirmation. In the end, everything might backfire and cause you even more distress about your body. So, is there a better approach than the body positivity movement? The answer is yes. In 2015, the concept of body neutrality was embraced by a large public, expressing a neutral stance, neither worshiping nor hating one's body. This perspective focuses more on what your body can do rather than what it looks like asterisk. For example, you might appreciate your strong legs because they support your body, but you still exercise to make your legs firmer. You want a balanced body, not because you want others to see you as beautiful, but because then your movements will be quicker and healthier. Or you might want to be fuller figured because you know that an overly thin body doesn't have enough strength to do the things you enjoy. This movement focuses on how a certain physique can bring you value instead of how it will look in the eyes of others. In other words, it minimizes negativity towards the body as much as possible, helping us not be negative or attempt extreme body changes, nor entirely neglect ourselves. Instead, it's about understanding the body. Moving from "I hate my body" to "I love my body" is a stressful and tearful process. I still don't love these narrow eyes, this protruding mouth, or these rough hands. Instead, I feel compassion for them, and I know the best I can do is to change the things I can change. This life has one unique fairness: injustice happens to everyone. If you are beautiful, you are lucky. If not, it's not your fault. I understand that I am not as ugly as I once thought. It's just that the love I had for myself before was not big enough. So now, when you look in the mirror, what do you see?